From stuck-on bottle caps to new return and reuse systems, Europe is testing small fixes for a big problem: the ongoing battle against plastic waste. Plastic is a relatively new invention in human history, with some of the first examples dating back to the late 1800s. But its use has grown immensely. And today, the European Union is among the largest producers of plastic waste in the world. According to the latest data, EU countries produce almost 16 million tons of plastic packaging waste in 2023. The average EU citizen produced almost 180 kilograms of packaging waste that year. Around 1/5 of it was plastic packaging. The Irish topped the list with more than 66 kilograms of plastic packaging waste per person generated in 2023. The island is followed by Denmark, Hungary and Portugal, where citizens generated more than 40 kilograms per person. Croatians seem to shy away from plastic the most, with just 18 kilograms per person in 2023. A global problem needs a global solution, but a recent United Nations attempt to create a plastics treaty ended with no deal. Many countries wanted a cap on producing new plastic, but other, mostly big oil-producing countries, wanted to focus on waste management instead and cited economic downsides of a cap.
What's happening is that you have a few countries, and this is openly known: Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the Gulf states, and now the US have joined, and some other few countries, Pakistan as well, that they're using that as an excuse, but really what they have is a very strong fossil fuel industry that doesn't want it. Plastics pollution leaks into the air, into the water, into the soils, and then it gets shipped all over the world. So we've decided, and everyone has proven, that this cannot be dealt with at the national level. For this reason, you need a multilateral environmental agreement that has global rules. This is so key.
What matters too, though, is how effectively countries are already recycling their waste. In 2022, the EU recycled 41% of all the generated plastic packaging waste. Slovakia recorded the highest recycling rate at 60%, followed by Belgium, Germany and Slovenia. The lowest rates were recorded in Malta, followed by Denmark, France and Austria. But neatly throwing your plastic bottle into the right bin is not where the cycle stops.
Then when we recycle them, we don't have enough information to understand what was actually in that plastic. And so it becomes a low quality recycled content material. That's how we call it. It basically means we don't know what's in it. And if you are an entrepreneur that wants to provide a top quality product, you may not choose to buy recycled content because you know what's in it. And so this is just one of the biggest myths of, oh, recycling is great. But right now, the recycling industry is not where it needs to be to turn a blender into a blender, a bottle into a bottle. And that's one of the key things that need to change. And you don't change this with recycling targets. You change this with rules on plastics design.
As less than half of the EU's plastic packaging waste is recycled, much of it still ends up in landfills, incinerators, or, more importantly, in nature and the environment. The EU has already introduced bans on single-use items like straws and cups, exchanging them with paper ones. But while praised in Brussels as a leap forward, experts say it's not the golden solution.
Replacing single-use plastic with single-use paper doesn't solve the problem, it only makes it worse. The single-use paper has plastic in it, it also causes deforestation, etc. So there's lots of measures that could be better. There's also the financial incentives. We as citizens still don't have really, or the producers and citizens, we don't have the financial incentive to produce or to consume plastic in a better way, in a more sustainable way. If we look at the last years, what has increased in Europe is plastic burning, incineration of plastic, more than plastic recycling. Plastic recycling has increased a bit, but plastic incineration has increased even more, which means that yes, we're moving away from landfill, but we're not going the right solution yet.
While the EU is among the world's biggest plastic waste generators, it has also become a testing ground for solutions aimed at reducing plastic littering. Some EU countries are leading the way with so-called deposit return systems. This system adds a small refundable fee to beverage containers, and consumers reclaim it by returning the empty bottle. This simple loop turns waste into a resource, boosts recycling, and keeps plastics out of the environment. Not all EU countries have such a system though. Countries like the Netherlands, Germany and Denmark have had it for years, while others like Belgium, France and Spain have not. The Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation sets specific targets for the collection of single-use beverage bottles, aiming for 90% collection by 2029. It also encourages the introduction of a deposit return system in all EU member states. Whether all EU countries will introduce their own system and how they will be harmonized remains to be seen. Meanwhile, local and regional communities are already finding innovative ways to reuse plastic products to reduce waste and raise awareness.
There's good practices, for example, when it comes to menstrual items or wet wipes, which is, these are mainly made of plastic. And in the region of Catalonia, for example, there has been initiatives to provide reusable menstrual items and education to all the schools, and also like that to oblige that any public institution should have toilets for people who menstruate to use reusable systems. Another example is the city of Tübingen in Germany that passed a single-use plastic tax in order to make the use of reusable alternatives more competitive. And the city of Aarhus in Denmark has been the first one to actually launch a citywide reuse system for takeaway systems. And that's also like a local initiative that I think it shows the way, and many cities are going to copy in the next years.
Has your country, city or local community introduced any innovative ways to recycle and reuse plastic? Let us know in the comments and follow the European Newsroom for more.